Well, welcome to the Zoom world. Well, what I share was really how things happened. Obviously, that's the only what. Yeah. And the non-duality, obviously, is a very unique proposition because what we were hoping to maybe arrive at later when we're ready and stuff is presented as we're already here. Yeah. So it bypasses time and space right there. Just like if you take the statement, the seeker, you could, in spirituality, you could have a long story about the seeker and the sought. And there may have been many different things that were sought, but there was one constant, was the seeker, where non-duality doesn't put any attention on the sought, it puts attention on the seeker. Because if you see you're not the seeker, that's the sought. And that just compresses time and space beautifully. Yeah, it's a beautiful statement. Just taking the first proposition, a seeker, and then a sought, and then having it compress into a seek. The seeker is the sought, which is so beautiful, because I believe this event can be captured by a verb of dreaming. Yeah? And I believe that everything is seemingly so. It's appearing to be true or false to us. It doesn't have any truth or false. It appears to be true or false to us. Not us as Paul and Jim and Mary and Dee, but us as what we are, let's say. Yeah. That's what's dreaming. And then it appears to be true or false. Actually, it's the other way. It's true or false to us as what we're not. Yeah. And this message, because every other path I entered, it was always the me that was entering it. And a path is a path. It's something you start, and sometimes it looks like you'll never finish. Yeah. And the beauty of non-duality is so abrupt. It catches the head off guard, and so much is revealed when it's not being claimed by the head. Yeah. When a revelation doesn't get claimed by the head, it's quite revealing. And you'll have those moments. I said she had something happen. So let's say you have a moment where you see the emperor has no clothes. Yeah. And that's the idea of the presentation of you as being the doer, the thinker, the feeler, the taster, the toucher. And then suddenly that emperor is seen with no clothes on. Now, the beauty of non-duality, it can lead you to a state where no matter how many pieces of clothing the emperor wears, you'll see the emperor has no clothes. Yeah, this is the beauty of it. So it's not another peak experience. What it does is these moments or these recognitions get extended in this place through the understanding of non-duality. Yeah. I remember I went to see some people, and their point was there is no body. There is no person, there is no body. And I had an incredible hit, but it was quickly claimed by a body, so to speak. Yeah. And I didn't think that was a unique event. I saw it as a pattern that no matter what happens, if you're still there, it's going to be claimed. Yeah. And the head is going to claim it and just weave it into its little narrative of the fabric of its narration. Yeah. It doesn't matter how big or how long the epiphany. As soon as that moment where the head says, I'm having an epiphany shows up, it ends, so to speak. And then the story of having an epiphany takes over. Yeah. And so I was under a lot of beliefs that there could be a strong enough peak experience that could shatter that. But in my case, it didn't seem to be that way. And so the understanding of non-duality is what could extend that flash, that sudden bammo, that sudden enlightenment, that sudden whack in time. It could extend it. It would allow it to extend in time, because what would crop it, so to speak, what would like trim it, what would define it, what would package it, you see now as an activity. You're not looking from it anymore. You see it as an activity, and we call it selfing. Yeah. So a lot of times we use the term self because of coming out of recovery, but really there is no self. Self is something that's implied through the selfing. Yeah. And the selfing can't make a self. It can only imply there already is one. Yeah. It can't make a self. We seemingly make the self. Yeah. By the devoted or not devoted listening to this chant, we start taking ourselves to be something that the head has made to be ourselves. Yeah. So the head has made this idea of Paul as the body being the doer, the thinker, the one that's conscious, the one that can be unconscious, the one that can be enlightened, the one can be unenlightened, the one that can be awake, the one that can be unawake, all like this. Yep. That thing you see instead of looking from it. And it was such a big hit that I realized in this seed assignment, I wasn't going to move from there, because it made no sense, because if you don't see this claiming, you're going to be looking from it. Yeah. Because usually the epiphany, that vibrational buzz can't last that long. Yeah. That peak experience is an experience that unpeaks. Yeah. Things start getting seemingly normal after a period of time. And what extends that was revealed so suddenly in time is the understanding of non-duality. Because the understanding of non-duality clears up the misunderstandings of time and space and what we are and what we're not. Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful, really. And then the real value isn't the peak experience, it's the dog shit awareness. It's like the ordinariness of realizing you are awake, not through any effort or thought on anything's part, but as your natural state. And in most cases, the head's drive is to be unawake, really. And in a weird way, it can use things that profess to be all about awakening and pointing at awakening as a reinforcement of this insane idea that we're not awake. Yeah. Because obviously what drives us to seemingly get awake is a belief that we're not awake. Yeah. If that belief wasn't there and didn't take hold or didn't have a lot of interest and attention in it, the obviousness of the awakeness would land, and it would only need one landing. It would be like a knockout punch. You wouldn't have to get, pummeled for 13 rounds. It would be a knockout punch, because the awakeness of that, which is seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, does it demonstrate any thought or effort? Does the seeing demonstrate any thought or effort to be the seeing? Yeah. Now the eyes may go bad, but that which is triggering the vision doesn't go bad. The seeing, the hearing, the feeling, the tasting, the touching, in my just day-to-day evidence, revealed that there was no thought and effort in seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. So why would I believe I could arrive at that which demonstrates no thought and effort through thought and effort? It just fucking absolutely made no sense. Yeah, when I got whacked, it made absolutely no sense. And then once that one, you think this is a full-on knotted up fabric, but if you just pull one of the threads, the fucking whole thing starts coming undone. Yeah, and then mental logic tries to patch it up, but it's being unwound fit quicker than it can patch it up. And then you see these huge holes in what you were relying on sort of as a GPS. Yeah. You see it, and you can't. It's like Ramana implied it as your head is in the tiger's mouth. It's too late now. There's no pulling out anymore. You've seen something. You haven't. There's been a seeing of it. Yeah. But that seeing without the understanding of what's going to react to that seeing, not only your great open heart and your whatever, but the mental activity is going to claim it and imply you are the great seer. Yes, it is. And if you don't see that, you're going to be looking from it. And how are you going to see it? I don't know, maybe you'd have a flash and then another flash. It may take like 2 thunderbolts. You get the thunderbolt, and then you need another thunderbolt to explain what's going to happen when there's a reaction to the first thunderbolt. We've been missing the second thunderbolt, so to speak. So when we hear a beautiful parable about the lion who gets confused about it being a lion or not, and it lives with sheep and it acts like a sheep and it tries to be the best sheep it can be, and then that whole story is disturbed by meeting an older lion, and the older lion just drags the young lion. All the while the young lion is in this sheep identification. It's believing it's a sheep being dragged by the lion. The big lion doesn't drag it to a cave to eat it. It brings it to a water hole, puts both of their heads over the water. The young lion sees the old lion's reflection and realizes it's the same fucking reflection. So it gets it's a lion finally. And then the lion goes roar, and this lion, young lion, has never roared. Every roar was like a bad ba, 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 ba. Suddenly he goes roar, and the lion roars. It doesn't take 3 months of roaring classes, does it? No thought and effort being what you are. It's a lot of thought and effort trying to become what you are as what you're not. There's a lot of thought and effort in there. But being what you are doesn't demonstrate any thought or effort. Yeah? But trying to be what you are does. Yeah? And what would try to be what you already are? It has to be what you're not. If there's a trying to be what you already are, it has to be what you're not. It has to be. Yes? That's the reveal, in the movie. That's the big reveal, The person you thought was hunting the vampires is Dracula itself. The big reveal is you finally see it, yeah? And yet that seeing it can be fucking drowned in the tub of fucking mystical elixir, yeah? But if you have that understanding, when the reaction by the head arises, you'll see it as not you. You will not lose your seeming position by believing you are another position. You'll see the making of that other position from awareness. You'll see it, yeah? And then the beauty of non-duality, the understanding verifies itself. It doesn't need a lot of advertising. It doesn't need to constantly be reinforced. You do not need to chant what you are. We're living in a trance of chanting what we're not. Yeah, it's that beautiful. And then the understandings explain what happens in time. Yeah, the head reacts, claims it, tries to fit itself around it, tries to fit the message around it, and you see it, and more gets revealed. About what? About what you're not. What does it get revealed to? About what you are. What you are, the revelation is about what you're not. It's about that, and what receives it is what you are. Yes? And in what you are, it's always realized, as Ramana